and welcome to the GrapeSEED official podcast. It is time for Cindy's Corner. So welcome back to the podcast, Cindy.
Thank you for having me again, Adam. It's been a couple of months since we last chatted.
Exactly. Yeah, we with the new year and these next gen podcasts coming out, there's been a bit of a break, but you're back. What do we have as our topic today?
Oh, today I want to talk about being a teacher that your students will remember. A little cliche here, but then something that I've been thinking about a lot recently.
Okay, go ahead and get into it.
Okay, so recently I was talking to some teachers about the different resources they have or don't have at their school, right? Oh wait, it may have been during one of our GrapeSEED talks actually. So we were talking about some schools having dedicated English classrooms. Obviously, some teachers don't. Some have more than plenty of time to prep for their lessons. Like I think one teacher says she gets like an hour to prepare for her two lessons. Some teachers teaches 4 lessons back to back. They have 10 minutes and maybe 5 minutes in between, something like that. And some of them do not even know which classroom they will be teaching until like 15 minutes, sometimes right before the lesson begins. And I've also, this is not during that same time, but I've also spoke with some teachers that have to change students or classes before they even really get to know each individual students or even their names. So as a GrapeSEED coach, there is, so much we can do, and the support we can provide is limited when it comes to such issues. Obviously, when it comes to using the tools right, teacher motivation, setting your goals, individual student support, etc., we can do our best. But when it comes to these classroom issues, prep time issues, it's really difficult because then we do our best to talk about the necessity and importance of providing teachers with, again, time, resources, support, etc., to succeed, to have effective lessons for student and teachers' success ultimately, to the school managers. But again, more often than not, the schools are already really bending backwards and trying their best. That's all they can handle at the moment. And sometimes I feel like when we hear comments like, oh, the program isn't really working, I feel like saying, well, it's because you're not providing the bare minimum for it to succeed. And then I feel bad for the teachers there that will never get to experience, quote unquote, real GrapeSEED potential, or sometimes even a bit frustrated thinking, but you didn't do anything that will ensure success. So how would you know that this program isn't really working, right? Then after the meeting and watching some other classes recently, writing up some reports, I went back to what GrapeSEED really stands for, which is joy of learning. And GrapeSEED is an excellent curriculum, but simply implementing GrapeSEED at one school doesn't obviously guarantee effective or successful English acquisition. So at the end of the day, the school is first and foremost this, and most importantly, the teacher's commitment are the main factors that would determine that. And we all know that when we work at a school, there are elements and factors out of our control. Same thing with us. There may be values and issues that don't necessarily align with yours. Some schools never say no to their students. Some schools never allow students to hold a pencil, etc. And I know how stressful that can sometimes be, especially if you were raised differently, we have different cultural backgrounds, but that's okay. And that's normal, especially expatriate teachers out there face this more, I feel like. So many of these things are influenced by, again, how we were raised, our family background, where we come from, and the so-called social norm. So, but one thing we can all agree on is regarding of those differences, we all do appreciate it when we are appreciated, acknowledged, when we feel like we are needed, when we're heard, or loved, or acknowledged. And when you ask me about a teacher, I remember the first one that comes to mind is Miss Ramona. I remember talking about her to multiple teachers, and maybe even during our GrapeSEED talks. She was my kindergarten teacher too. And I have other teachers that I remember and I respect, but the first teacher that comes to mind is always her, Miss Ramona. And back then, I thought I was her favorite student. I thought she was special to me because she really, really liked me somehow. Of course, thinking back now, I know that's not the case. She was, and I think I never asked, but I'm pretty sure every student in that class felt the same way that I felt, that they felt special. She was fair, but also she knew what each of us needed or liked. For example, she knew I loved animals, especially dogs. So she would have, for arts and crafts, she would have prepared magazine cutouts for me and give it to me during the class or after class. So like, hey, Cindy, I prepared this for you. I got this for you. I saw this on a magazine cover. I knew you like dogs, so here it is. And I used to paste them into my craft book. I used to keep them under my pillow. She did that with other students too. Like I remember one student that loved the Great Wall of China. She would have cutouts from magazines and newspapers with different walls or old stone buildings, and then give that to him. And he would paste that onto his diary book, I remember. So at the end of the day, it's all about something other than if you have a beautiful classroom or not. Awesome if you do, and not the end of the world if you don't.
Goodbye, my friends, goodbye. I'm sad to say goodbye. It was a good day, but now I will say goodbye, my friends, goodbye. Goodbye, everyone.